Many thanks for staying with us on News Prime. You're watching us on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on NICAMSAT. We begin tonight by telling you that President Bola Tinubu has assured troops of the Nigerian army of his administration's full support to crush the armed bandits in the country. The president said this in Sokoto while addressing troops of Operation Adirin at the 8th Division headquarters in Sokoto State. Represented by the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawela, who was accompanied by the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Defense State General Christopher Moses, said the president is very concerned about the security of the country. And now the member representing Obaru Federal Constituency of Anambra State in the House of Representatives has appointed 70 constituency aides across the constituency. He said that this is a fulfillment of his commitment to delivering excellent service to his constituent. Special assistant, executive, others. Away from that, former governor of Plateau State, Senator Simon Lalong, has criticized the delay in appointing a new minister from the state, urging President Bola Tinubu to address the issue promptly. Speaking at the APC stakeholders meeting at the party's secretariat in Kawa House, Judge Lalong, the senator representing Plateau South, highlighted the state's 7-month absence of federal representation since he resigned his ministerial post to join the Senate. As the race for the top job at the Dennis Osadide Avenue reaches an intriguing phase with campaign trends across 18 local government across heating up, a chieftain of All Progressive Congress, Pastor Osazie, has assured people of the state that the party is determined to implement the local autonomy program without any delay. Anthony Mamudu has a report.
The former All Progressive Congress governorship candidate and former secretary to the government of Edo State, Pastor Eze Andrew Iyamo, has assured the Edo State people of Senator Monday Okpeholo's determination to implement the local government autonomy as soon as he wins at the polls.
The councils are going to become viable again. Their monies will be domiciled in their local governments. And it's for us now to ensure that there's accountability. Those who are there, we will hold them responsible for the funds that come. And we're going to demand from the federal government that what they used to do in the time of Dr. Mrs. Ngozi Iweala, when allocations are published, not just state by state, but local government by local government, should be reintroduced.
The APC chieftain called out the outgoing government for the poor state of affairs of the state and to be prepared to be probed.
We have had 8 years of very bad governance, 8 years of deceit, 8 years of lies in those states. When you consider the huge amount that's come to this state, and you see the so-called development, it's shameful. Everywhere they pretend they are doing projects, all uncompleted. Contractors not on site because they are not paid. But I want to believe that the Edo people will cry out for justice. Edo people realize that they are being short-charged.
As Nigerians warm up to the autonomy given to the local governments across the 36 states of the Federation, it is hoped that the 774 local government areas in the country would experience a new lease of life for the betterment of the people and the nation's democratic journey. Anthony Momodu reporting from Benin City for Global Television News.
And our Oyo State Acting Governor Bayo Lawal declared that the national flag be flown at half-mast in the state for 7 days in honor of former Secretary to the state government Michael Carlos, who died on Monday at the age of 86. Lawal, who led top government functionaries to pay a condolence visit to the family of the late former national chairman of the defunct Alliance Democracy in his Akobo residence, gave this narrative in Ibadan, the state capital. He described him as an astute politician, a reservoir of knowledge for all politicians, and a patriot. Ahead of the Kaduna State local government elections slated for October 19, a coalition of civil society organizations has opposed a reversal to manual voting by Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission. Addressing a joint press conference, Lawrence Obawe, the founder and national coordinator, Reset Nigeria, and Bako Abdul, the national president of Campaign for Democracy, on behalf of other CSOs, also expressed deep concern over the proposed scrapping of the state independent electoral commissions and the plans to centralize local government elections either under a new centralized body at the federal level or the Independent National Electoral Commission has been proposed. Now, the Abia State government has concluded plans to train 2,000 master trainers for teachers in the state. The Commissioner for Information, OK Kano, disclosed this while briefing the journalists on the outcome of this week's Executive Council meeting presided over by Governor Alex Oti. He said that 200 teachers have passed through the trainings, while the remaining 1,800 will have theirs soon. He said the Abia State Basic Education Board has screened, interviewed, and shortlisted 40 teachers for training on the Abia State Skill Enhancement Team program. Away from that, the management of Tai Solarin University of Education, Ijagon in Ogun State, has resuscitated 25 students and indefinitely suspended 58 others for various misconduct, including forgery, threat of life, examination malpractice, and other fraudulent acts. The university's registrar, Dakpo OK, disclosed this in a statement. The disciplinary actions were recommended by the Examinations Malpractice and Student Disciplinary Committee and approved by the state of the university at its statutory meeting on 31st July 2024. You're watching News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, where News Prime returns. Victor Osimhen received the Heroes Welcome. Details of these and more stories are after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying and watching the News Prime. And on to business, Nigeria has called for a more robust partnership with United Nations to achieve the sustainable agricultural development and food security. The appeal was made in Abuja during the visit of United Nations Deputy Secretary General Dr. Amina Mohamed to Nigeria, where she held discussions with key stakeholders in the agriculture and food security sectors. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kari, while welcoming Mohamed, highlighted the crucial role that the United Nations had played in Nigeria's development. Aliko Dangote has revealed that petrol produced from his 650,000 barrels per day facility will hit the filling stations in the next 48 hours as modalities with the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited are formalized. Dangote said this during a press briefing announcing the formal production of petrol at the refinery. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries oil output fell in August to the lowest since January, a Reuters survey found as shown. A survey release slated the unrest that disrupted the Libyan supply added to the voluntary supply cut by other members in the wider OPEC alliance. The survey disclosed that OPEC pumped 26.35 million barrels per day last month, down to 350,000 barrels per day from July, saying this was the lowest total since January 2024. And now the federal government has denied a report suggesting that the Ministry of Petroleum Resources ordered the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to sell up fuel at 1,000 naira above their approved pump price. The report claimed that the Minister of Petroleum Resources gave the NNPC of the directive dismissing the report in a statement signed by the Special Advisor on Media and Communication, Ndemika He made available to correspondent, the federal government declared that the report was concocted and the EU conceived to sow the discord and confusion in the oil industry. And now the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Securities and the Exchange Commission, and the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation has joined forces to streamline the bank recapitalization process, aiming to enhance efficiency and transparency within the financial sector. In a statement made available, the Director General of the SEC, Emotomi Agama, highlighted that the collaboration is part of the broader effort to reduce the time to market for capitalizations activities of making the Nigerian capital market more attractive to investors and issuers alike. Agama explained that several initiatives had been implemented, including the introduction of an electronic filing system, streamlined registration processes, and updated regulatory frameworks. The federal government signed a memorandum of understanding with the Chinese company Mutual Commitment Company Limited for the assembly of electric tricycles and to establish a renewable energy training center. The MOU signing ceremony, facilitated by the Rural Electrification Agency, was attended by the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelebu, and the Managing Director, Mr. Abba Aliyu. Away from that, the federal government, through the Nigerian Port Authority, has handed over the Tinkan Island Water System facilities to the Sadus Tinkan Water Project Limited after it signed a 16-year concession agreement with the firm valued at 11 billion naira. The MPL disclosed that the concessionaire will use this year to rebuild and rehabilitate the facility before the agreement will officially kick off on September 1st, 2025. Speaking during the handing over ceremony at Tinkan Island, Port Harcourt, the Managing Director of NPA, Dr. Bubakar Dansho, explained that the concession agreement was born out of necessity, adding that most of the water treatment plant at the port have gone moribund for decades. Now, the foreign scene, as African leaders gathered in Beijing this week for the China-Africa Summit, the Chinese President Jinping may have one thing under his belt to boast about: satellite TV. Almost 9 years ago, President Jinping promised the heads of state attending the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in Johannesburg that China will provide over 10,000 remote villages in 23 African countries with digital TV access. And now, with over 9,600 villages having received satellite infrastructure, the project is now nearing completion. A huge search and rescue operation is taking place in the English Channel after a boat carrying the dozens of migrants capsized off the coast of the Lake Porto in the northern France. A number of people are believed to be in a critical condition, according to a French Coast Guard spokesperson. Emergency services have been deployed in large numbers and multiple. Now, cars traveling in a motorcade carrying the Governor Tim Walz, the Democratic candidate for vice president, crashed in the Milwaukee. And Walz was not hurt, as confirmed. The crash happened on Monday, and the cars involved were at the rear of the motorcade and were carrying members of the press who traveled with Walz. Report says that they were violently thrown forward after being hit from behind and sending their vehicle into the car in front of them. At least one person was injured. Russian President Putin has arrived in Mongolia, his first visit to the International Criminal Court, and remember since it issued a warrant for his arrest last year. He was welcomed by the Mongolia's leader at a lavish ceremony in the Asian nation's capital. The Russian leader is wanted by the court for the alleged illegal deportation of Ukrainian children. A spokesperson from the Kremlin said it was not concerned Putin will be arrested during the visit. And Pope Francis has arrived in the Indonesia capital, Jakarta, kicking off the longest and fastest trip of his tenure to the Asia and Pacific region. And now he is expected to highlight the environmental concerns and the importance of the interfaith dialogue during the 12-day trip, which will also see him travel to Papua and New Guinea and Singapore and the Timor-Leste, the only one of the 4 countries that is predominantly Catholic. The World Health Organization says the polio vaccinations of children in central Gaza have surpassed the target in the first 2 days of the immunization campaign. The United Nations agency representative in the Palestinian territory said over 161,030 children under the age of 10 were vaccinated on Sunday and Monday above the projection of 156,500. The difference was probably the result of an underestimate of the population crowded in the area against plan. And now to sport, thousands of Galatasaray fans gathered at the Istanbul airport, Turkey, to welcome the Super Eagles star Victor Osimhen with enthusiasm and excitement. Despite arriving at 3:30 a.m., Osimhen was met with cheers and chants. He appeared thrilled as fans sang and chanted his name, creating a memorable moment. The warm reception marked the beginning of Osimhen's loan move from the Napoli to Galatasaray, a deal completed after the European transfer window had closed. At Arsenal Sports, Super Eagles captain William Troost-Ekong, forward Ademola Lookman, and the England-based quartet Olani, the Taiwo Awoniyi, and Wilfred Ndidi are among the early arrivals in the camp for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against the Benin Republic and Rwanda. The players reported at the Awiyo camp ahead of the two fixtures, which will see the team host the Cheetahs of the Benin Republic on September 7th at Gaston Berger International Stadium in New York before facing the Movabi in Kigali 3 days later. The media team says only 11 players have arrived in camp as of the time of this report. And as a package on News Prime, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on DSTV channel 365, start times 276, and free to air. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now sharing on the screen. I'm Edika Mike. Many thanks for watching and see you again.